As a record collector, I often get asked, what are your desert island discs? And a lot of record collectors hate this question, but I'll explain why I love it. For one, a lot of the times when you're a DJ, you pick an album just for one song, you know, or you buy singles, or you just sort of think of like favorite songs. And that may not be an all-encompassing album. An incredible song can be on an album with only one good song. Like I've spent $500 on one record just for the one song on it, and the rest of the album was garbage. So this answer is not necessarily my favorite songs, but I'm gonna answer this question in a way of you put on this album and there's no filler. It's a completely cohesive, comprehensive album that's a masterpiece from start to finish. So in no particular order, I would say Forever by Pete Drake. He's the inventor of the talking steel guitar, which is an early vocoder, like all the sounds that you hear on Daft Punk or Zapp and Roger records from the 70s. He sort of pioneered that technology, and it's incredible. It's a really dreamy, ethereal, David Lynch-esque cinematic record. It's one of my music supervisor favorites I'll always throw into a mix. Then, of course, the classic Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars by David Bowie. A rock opera in its own right, from 5 years to rock and roll suicide. He tells a story of this character. And every lyric and every instrumentation in that record is telling a story in a perfect order. I mean, no one else has done such a thing since then. Number 3 would be master, genius, producer and artist Giorgio Moroder's Nights in White Satin. I mean, that is one of the most sexy, sensual, start to finish disco records ever. Modern Lovers 88 by Jonathan Richman. One of the lesser known later 80s Jonathan Richman records, but it's kind of about all the time he spent in the desert in Southern California, and it's one of those records where you hear it and you just see, smell, and feel all the magic of the desert in Southern California. It's like you don't even need to be there, and that record takes you there. And it's one of my favorite places and albums of all time, so I will definitely put that on when I drive around Joshua Tree and Yucca Valley. It's really special. Last but not least is Ohmi Sono, who is the genius producer behind YMO and a lot of other amazing, weird, eccentric, experimental music in Japan in the 70s and 80s. He has a record called Philharmony, and it's just, it goes beyond genre classification. It's disco, it's synth pop, it's experimental music. So I figured I'd put that in there to sort of put my nod towards my love for experimental music.